process and learning about instructional leadership has been really eye-opening for myself, in terms of it's made me re-evaluate my perception of what good teaching is. What I observed to be good teaching up until then was one thing. What I observed to be good teaching now, I'm a lot more critical about what's actually going on and what learning is actually taking place in the classroom. I think it's been great in terms of getting my focus into what's actually going on in the instructional core. We can get very tied up with all the administrative types of aspects of our principal role, and that tends to demand time. The instructional core and focusing on that is probably a more important part of our role, but it doesn't get the time and reflection that we really need to spend on it. And this process is forcing me, it's giving me the opportunity to spend some time on it and focus on it. I think this professional learning's been a case of actually exploring and re-evaluating my own beliefs and what I know learning to be about. Instead of taking a product or a concept or an idea and replicating it into the school, it's actually forcing you to look inwardly at what your understanding of learning is and how we can influence learning in the instructional core. And through that, I think is a more powerful focus for our direction and our planning, and that's the way I believe this professional learning opportunity is different from many of the others that I've been a part of.
We're about to have rounds in your school very soon. I'm interested in your reflections about the preparations for those rounds.
Yeah. It was quite easy, or relatively easy, when we were going to other people's schools, but now that we're coming to my campus, there's a bit of trepidation, there's a little bit of nerves about what might be seen. The staff here haven't had the exposure to instructional rounds that I've had, and so to let them know what's going on to a level that they're comfortable with is difficult. There would be some anxious staff about having a group of particularly principals coming in to observe their class. So we're going through a process. The first bit we're looking at is defining our problem of practice, and we'll do that predominantly with the leadership team at the campus, and the opportunity to define that is going to be very valuable, we believe, to our campus. For the staff, the rest of the staff, we're going to hopefully give them enough information that they can understand what the process is, but it won't be to the depth of level that perhaps they'll really be able to value it to the full degree, because they haven't had the opportunity to go through the learning that I have. And that may be something we work on into the future. The problems of practice that I'd initially sort of put out as some ideas, the team questioned me and basically took me to each level to look deeper at what it was actually about. What I found was that a lot of my initial problems of practice were about things that were external factors and not directly part of the instructional core. Therefore, it wasn't going to be as of much value to us, and so it really forced me to dig deeper into what are the instructional core problems of practice that we have here at the campus. And it's through that questioning. Certainly the team didn't tell me what we needed to do. They simply asked the correct questions and the appropriate questions to help me to think about it and come up with ideas and answers that drove me into the instructional core. After we've had the rounds visit and we received the feedback from the principals, we'd like to use that feedback to inform our planning for next year's AIP, and then we can design strategies around focusing on the learning goals and improving our instructional core.
So how do you think this process is equipping you to do the work on the school improvement process?
It's providing a structured approach to looking at problems of practice. Into the future, we'd like to use a similar approach in-house, if possible, but it's giving us a learning approach that's based on evidence rather than judgments, and that's a really important factor of the process.